This is the internetdentures.com full denture replication technique. We're going to be using these materials to take a mold of your existing denture that will give us a guideline to make you a try-in in wax for you to approve your teeth for your final smile, and we'll get everything done in wax before we go through to processing it to a final hard acrylic. In doing this, we're going to copy both the inside and outside of your upper and lower dentures. The very first thing you're going to do is take one of these impression trays. They're both the same size, so don't worry about which one is upper or lower. And let's start with the upper denture. Make sure that you understand that you need to have the upper denture setting in the middle of this tray. And once we get the putty mixed up, we will show you how to place that in there. We're going to take one of these two-part putties, open the package here, take one section of the blue, one section of the white, and begin kneading these together to mix it to a uniform color. Now you've got plenty of working time on this, so don't worry about hurrying, don't get in a panic or anything, just keep kneading it like a dough, and it's going to gently and smoothly start turning into one uniform color. And as you can see, we just knead it. You can roll it in your hands, however you feel like you need to get this mixed up that works best for you. Once again, you've got 2 to 3 minutes to get this mixed, so don't worry about hurrying. And as you can see, it's starting to be one particular color, one solid color. As I stretch it out, the white streaks are going away. I want to continue mixing just a little bit more until it's completely one color. Okay, so now that we have this one solid color, I'm going to have you take off just a little bit of this and put it to the side, and we'll show you how to load this into the tray. Now what we're trying to do on this tray is completely cover up all the edges and the complete inside here. So gently start to put it in there, push it more firmly as you go, and spread it out. What you want to do is have it spread out to where it comes over all the edges, covering them up completely. And once you get it like this, where it's covered all the way around, come back, put that down, take the piece that you left remaining here, and we're going to use this to capture the hard part of your upper palate that is hard to capture. So place a little bit in here in the palate, and then come back, and teeth first, place this firmly into the mold, centering it right in the middle of everything. You don't want to put it into the edges. And go ahead and firmly push down all the way until that comes up almost to the top of the edges. We're going to mold it in with our fingers here. And what we're wanting to do is butt up right next to the edges here, but not come over the top. And as you can see, we're getting it right up to the edges. We're molding it down with our fingers. We've got plenty of working time, so don't worry about how much time it takes you to do this. As you start to get it molded in here, you can gently, with your fingers, just press it around. And you want it to come up to the edge, not quite over the top, and definitely not overlapping the top. So once we have this all the way around, where we've covered our outer edge all the way around, we've come up to the edge of our denture, let's place this to the side and let that get hard. Now, while we're waiting for that to get hard, we can go ahead and take the other tray, and we will start doing our lower. Now you can take one of the materials out of the other tray, out of the other package if you'd like, but they're all the same, so go ahead and just take the second one out of this one. That way you'll end up with two in it instead of two separate ones. Okay, take both parts of that. Once again, you're going to knead it together. What we're looking for is a uniform color on all of these. This is all the same material, so you'll start getting used to it, working with it as you go along. And we're just going to knead it and roll it between our palms, whatever it takes to get it mixed up. If you've got a grandkid sitting around, let them go for this. Let them mix it up for you. Okay. Now as it's starting to mix up, we can spread it out and see that it still needs a little bit more mixing. It's got some white streaks in there. And we'll get this all in one uniform color again. And on the lower, we don't have that palette to worry about, so let's just go ahead and put all the material in here to begin with. Putting it just about evenly all the way around the tray, covering up the complete insides, and once again covering up the edges. Once you have this into it, where it's completely filling the tray, we're going to take our lower denture. The same thing, we're going to start teeth first, press it into the center of the tray, and firmly with our palms we're going to push down until it comes up almost to the edges. We're going to run this right up to the edge, but not over. Because we're going to be putting a cap on this. We don't want to have captured on this, and we don't want it to miss the undercuts. Okay, now once again we have this all the way up to the edge, but not quite over. And I'm going to show you how we correct a mistake in case we have one happen. I'm going to show you what happens if you do make a mistake and a little bit of this comes over the edge. So I'm intentionally going to take this over the edge and let that overlap like we were telling you not to do. The rest of it we have pushed right up to the edge like we want, with a little bit of edge exposed here. And I'm going to let that set up here where it actually curls over, which is an incorrect move, but we want to show you how to correct that later on. Okay, now that we've done this one, our upper has gotten set up now and it is hard. So what we will do is take the petroleum jelly, take the brush that we provided, take a little bit of petroleum jelly, and we're going to put a light coating over everything. We want you to coat the inside of the denture, all the blue, all the tray, anything that's exposed. We don't want to glob this on here, but we do want a complete coverage of it, complete coating. So once you have that completely coated, put your brush aside, and we're going to take one more section of the putty, one more blue, one more white, and we're going to start kneading again. By now you're getting to be an old pro at this. There's going to be just one more time you'll have to do this. And it's the same process, the same material. We're going to mix it, mold it, and knead it until we have one color. Okay, my fingers work a little fast. I've had 30 years of doing this, so yours might be a little slower. Don't worry, you've got plenty of working time. And as it's starting to turn one color, we can check it by spreading it out and see we have a few little white streaks left, so we're going to keep kneading. Okay, it's getting one color for us. And now we have everything set up. Once the material is one uniform color, we're going to take about half of it and put it into a pointed little rope. What we're trying to do with this is give ourselves something that we can push down into the hard to reach accesses of this lower inside the denture. So start here on one edge. Push it into all the little tight spots there, making sure you give somewhere for the air to flow out of it. Don't capture an air bubble inside there. And as you can see, we're gently filling up the inside of this. And now that I've got all the inaccessible areas covered up, we're going to take the rest of the putty and put it over the top. And we want to completely seal off all the way around this. So just push it down. You're going to gently form it into the other putty you already had in there. And as you look around, you can see that we don't have any edges completely are still exposed. We have it completely covered. You can flatten it out. You don't have to worry about flattening it out too much. Mold it down with your palm. And here's what we're looking for. We want to have every edge covered up all the way around. Now we're going to set that to the side and let that get hard again. This time our denture over here, the first material has gotten hard. And remember, I've got this area here that I wanted to show you how to correct. So what we will do with that is we will take our scalpel, has a safety cap on it. Be very careful with this, it's very sharp. Once you're through with this, be sure to dispose of it properly and keep this away from children in the meantime. We don't want any household accidents. So it has a safety cap. Once you get through with this, put it back in place and either put it safely in a drawer or dispose of it properly. What we're going to be doing on this is, remember, we wanted to have our material up to the edge all the way around, but not curling over. So I'm just going to take this scalpel here and cut away the part that I had curl over by accident. That's all you need to do. Once that material is out of the way, see, we've got our edge exposed now. We're going to put the safety cap back on and once again dispose of this properly. Now at this time, remember, we're putting another cap on here. We don't want to stick. So we're going to take a little more of the petroleum jelly, put it on the brush, and once again we're going to coat everything. We want a light coating, not really globbed on there, but we do want to make sure that we have enough on there that the two halves don't stick. You don't have to worry about this being an intimate impression because we're going to be taking another impression inside this later on for your final fit. Once we have everything coated with this, we're going to go ahead and mix up with the fourth part of our putty. Like I said, you can take it out of each of the packages, or you can use one package to continue on until you've emptied that package and go to the next one. And these are the two-part putties we're going to mix together again. Just knead it once again until we have the uniform color. There's not much It's going to change on there from one time to the next. We're just going to take about the same amount of time, and once again you have plenty of working time, so don't panic, don't worry. Just make sure it's mixed up properly. You don't want to do it early. If anything, keep going until you're sure that it's one color. Okay. Now this mixed up pretty quickly for us. I've got it all one color, as you can see, no streaks when I spread it out. And once again, we're going to take about half of it. And since the lower is a little bit more narrow than the upper, we're going to put this into an even finer rope. So give yourself a little tube of material like that. We're going to start on one edge, pushing it in. We're going to push it all the way through, making sure that we give somewhere the air to flow back out of there. So come from one edge and work to the other. Don't start at both ends and go to the front. We want to go from one end to the other. And we're pushing all the air and making sure there's no voids in there. Once I've got that done, we're going to take the rest of the material and once again come over the top and make a cap that seals off completely. This doesn't have to be very precise. Your main thing on this is to get it pushed down and sealed off on all the edges. Okay. As you can see, once again, I've got it flattened out here on the top. I've got it pushed all the way around the edges. There's no exposed denture. We're going to let that sit down there, and that will get hard for us also. So let's get rid of all this. Clean up a little bit. And over here, our first one is starting to get hard. It's just about ready to separate. So we will come in here with our stick, find a seam, and separate the two halves. This should cleanly pop out and leave us a mold of the inside of your teeth. Now be sure to take this tool and take your existing denture back out of there. We don't want you to send that to the lab for us. You keep this in your hands. What we need is a mold of the inside and the outside, and this will give us the copy that we need to make for your upper denture. These two halves go together, and the inside there is the shape of your denture. Now this isn't quite set up yet, so we're going to give this just a little bit of time to set up. All right, now that the upper has set up and the lower has set up also, we're going to separate this off. Take your stick, separate the two halves. Take your stick and also recover your lower denture. And that is the final thing that you're going to have to do. We've got upper and lower molds for both of these. So you just have to choose the shade of your teeth, mark that on your prescription, on your paperwork that you fill out. And then take both of these, put them in the prepaid mailing box. They're very durable. You don't need to put any packing material or anything. Just drop them in just like this. Take both halves, put them in there. Call your postman, and this will be on your way to get your new smile made in the USA.